Hey everyone, welcome back to Amberg Acres. So if you're following along with this lean-to build, it's been going on for almost a month now. It is July 15th. So the last episode you saw, part 2, that started back on around the 1st of July, and it took this long to get this far, okay? So we had some setbacks, we ran out of wood, I had to cut more wood, I had to go get some logs and that type of stuff. So nothing happens overnight here at Amberg Acres, so it took us a while to get to this part. And this one's going to take a while too, because I have nothing made for up there to doing a roof. So my main goal right at this moment is to get some tar paper up there and get the drip edge on. I went and picked up some drip edge, aluminum I think it is, or metal, whatever it is made out of. So I went and picked that up, and my main goal is to get that put on. At least the tar paper will keep the rain from dripping through onto the sawmill until I figure out what I'm putting up there for shingles or whatever. So my plan is, and when Barb's aunt and uncle were here from Oregon, he's worked with wood for many years, and part of it was his suggestion. I had mentioned it to him, and he thought that was a really good idea just to do it that way, is to make my own wood shakes and just put shakes up there for shingles instead of going out and buying shingles. Because we're trying to do this, if you're not familiar with our channel was primarily based on making something out of nothing. So we're trying to do this for absolutely no money, which is almost impossible to do because you have to buy nails and screws and whatever. I had to go buy some of the metal trim, I had to go buy the tar paper, but we're trying to do it as cheaply as possible is our goal here at Amberg Acres. So the suggestion was made to just make our own shakes out of some kind of wood. Now I recently had a big cedar tree go down over there in the other part of the property, and I don't know what that looks like. I haven't gotten back in there. It's kind of in the swamp area. I haven't gotten back in there to see what it is. The whole top half of the tree came off. So if that trunk is good, it would be nice to go cut that cedar down and bring that trunk back here and saw that up and make shakes out of it. So that's my plan. That may not work. I also have this big spruce timber here on the sawmill, which I am really struggling to saw. All I have left are resharp blades. I haven't bought any new blades in a while. And I make a couple of cuts in the blade that can hardly go through this stuff. So this is the first time I really cut a big spruce. It is way harder than pine and any of the pines I've been cutting. And some of it's probably got to do with the knots, the bark that's on there. I don't know exactly why I'm having such an issue. I put on some new belts. The belts seemed to be slipping. It was stopping the blade. So I went and put on the new belt. The new belt lasted for 5 hours, and that was it. Not really sure what's going on there, but I'm going to get some new blades, and hopefully I can get that sawed up too into something. For right now, my goal is to get some trim on here, get the metal drip edge on, and get the rest of the tar paper on so that when it rains, the sawmill ain't getting soaked, okay? So let's look at this here. There's a couple different styles of drip edge you can use. This one here is basically called a gutter apron. You would put your gutters on, and then this part here goes down over the top of the gutter, and that makes the water go in and shed right into the gutter, okay? So that's what this one is called, is a gutter apron. Now the reason I bought a piece of this is because I got a couple pieces left over from when I did the barn. I probably used it somewhere on the barn, and I don't know where else I used it, but I had a couple pieces laying here. So that's why I picked up a piece, because I'm going to just use whatever I have here to do it. So these are going to go on the sides, and the regular drip edge, which I'll show you here now. This is the other style drip edge, okay? And I believe this is called a style D. So this is about 1 inch and something that hangs down, and then this other part goes on the roof, and you put your nails through there. So I had a bunch of pieces of this laying around too. So this is gonna go on the back and the front, and then the other stuff will go on the sides, okay? And it's just the way I'm doing it because I'm using up what I have here. So I remember, I think I had 3 pieces of this, but one piece was a different style. This leg here comes in longer versions, so it acts, you can still use it with a gutter. It acts like that gutter apron and a drip bit, and it's made the same way. It's a D style, what they call a D style, I believe what this is called. So I had 3 pieces, but that one piece isn't any good. So I went and picked up some of this. I'm gonna finish up the back here. I put 2 pieces up, and I put some old tar paper that I had here. I put that up, so I had to go get some more tar paper, and then I picked up a couple pieces of each one of these so that I can finish this out. And then at some point I would like to add the fascia, you know, I believe it's called an L6 fascia on there, metal, so that it matches the roof on the barn and whatever. Just kind of it'll dress it up a little bit, you know, so it doesn't look like rotting wood or anything when you look at it, okay? So with that said, let's get going on this. Okay, so I cut off the tar paper and I glued it down using roofing cement to the metal. And when you put your shingle on there, you let your shingle overhang a little bit, and then that makes a drip that comes down and does not go on your wood board there. So over here where you see where I pieced it together, I can throw a nail in there. Once I get a fascia piece up under there, you throw one of them white nails in there and it tightens everything up. It looks really nice. You won't even notice it once it's done. So it is a scorcher out here today. It's only like 8 o'clock in the morning and I am dripping wet already. It's supposed to get into the 90s today. So I'm gonna work on it this morning, try and get as much done as I can. At least I'm hoping to get the tar paper on. I can come back and do the metal trim anytime, but I'd like to get the rest of this tar paper on quick before I quit for the day. Rest of the afternoon we got other stuff planned. So just so you know, this stuff is a little heavy. Okay, so gotta trim the edges, and then this is done, and we get the rest of the trim up here. So I don't know if this is right or wrong, but this is the way I've always done it. I put the side one, the back one goes underneath the tar paper, and then the side one I put over the top of the tar paper. And my thought behind that is if the rain comes and gets under that shingle, it'll go across the top the top of this metal and then go across the top of the tar paper and down. And that's my thought behind it. Don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's the way I do it. Don't necessarily follow along with what I'm doing here because I don't know that I'm correct all the time. So right up here I added just a short piece, and then I left it stick out a little bit so that that other piece of drip edge, that D-style channel, goes in and kind of interlocks with it. Okay, so I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but this one basically slips over the front and then tucks in like that. Okay, so it tucks in right here to this. I brought it all the way forward. So the rain hits here and should go back. You know, technically, I can trim this little piece off if I want it to match. But for what I'm making here, nobody's gonna see it but me. I'm gonna leave that there. Or you can cut it and bend it over to close up that little gap. Put some caulk in there. I'm gonna continue putting this front piece on. Again, that goes over the top of the tire paper. So I'm gonna put some juice down here and get this one nailed in. So I got the rest of the metal up this morning. I wanted to get it done because there's more rain coming. It's kind of dark over there. I don't know if we're going to get hit hard or not, but there's a line of storms coming through again today. The one thing I did notice though, as I was up there working, my beam that we put up is not doing very well. It's starting to sag already. I don't know what my solution is yet. I'm thinking I'm just going to put a jack under it for right now until I figure something out. I don't know what the answer is. I got room there. I could put another beam up underneath it, but I'm going to have to make it out of something other than white pine. I'm going to have to find some boards, something a little stronger. If I would go with a 20-footer piece, if I would get some 20-footers and put them up there and then put some king studs or jack studs, whatever you want to call them, against the posts, that would probably help quite a bit. But for right now, I'm going to put a jack under it and I'm going to try and get it straight. I'll show you what it looks like here. I don't know if it'll show up good on the camera or not. If I stand back here, you can see it's starting to sag right through there. So I staggered all these pieces when I put them together so that wasn't supposed to happen, but it's happening. So I'm chalking it up to that it's white pine, and the white pine is not a very strong wood. It is kind of shitty wood, to say the least. I don't care for the white pine trees on the property. The wood isn't that great. The red pine is a little better. This spruce that I've been trying to cut here, this thing I'm really struggling to get through it with any of my resharp blades. So I got to get new blades and try and cut that. And maybe that's an option. Maybe I can cut some more planks out of that and put it underneath there to stiffen up that beam. I don't want this to continue to sag, so I'm going to put a jack right in here somewhere, right in the middle, and that should hold it up for now. I'm going to have to remove it when I want to get that log out of there or do something else, but for right now, before this rain comes, I think I'm going to just try and get a jack up there. All right, I raised that about 1 inch. Well, it looks like it helped it quite a bit already. All right, so I'm going to clean up here. I got all kinds of scraps. I got stickers laying everywhere from our job last week, putting all this stuff up. We just kind of throw it off to the side, and I take care of it later. So I got a lot of cleaning up to do. So I'm gonna get that all done. We'll let this sit for a day or two and see if I can strengthen it. So I'm trying to get in here where that cedar tree is, and Right now I'm looking at it there. That's the cedar. I thought this was the cedar where it broke off way up on top. But that's the cedar, and that's the cedar laying right there. That does not look good. So here's the white pine that broke off. So I ain't sure what happened here. That's a pretty nice tree. I don't know if that was a lightning strike. It doesn't look burnt. Usually a lightning strike, there will be some burn marks on there. I don't recall having too many high winds. So that's the cedar right here. It looks like it was dead, or wasn't dead, but the trunk was obviously rotten down in the middle. And then this is the white pine. I don't know if that's solid yet. If that's solid, it's a nice straight log. I could get quite a bit of wood out of that one. The hard part is getting it out of here. There's my four-wheeler sitting over there. This is all garbage in here. There's no good way to get in here with the tractor. All right, so I got 3 nice logs out of that tree that snapped off, and I'm gonna take them up and I'm gonna saw them up. I can see this one's got a pretty good crack in it, so it all depends how you saw it, how the pieces are gonna turn out. The big trunk looks pretty good. This top part where it was broke off doesn't look as good, but we'll see. Once you get it up there and start cutting, it might look different. See? Yeah, he's gonna come. Yeah. He's afraid because he's a wild bird. Don't move. You gotta be careful. See? See, you moved.
What, did it rain saw logs last night?
Well, kinda, sorta.
How long are these gonna be here?
Till I get them cut up.
Well, I'm not mowing the lawn anymore until they're gone.
Okay. I guess I better get them done. So these logs laying here are the ones we got from down by Lake Nockabee. The guy, same guys that got the red pine logs for finishing the roof on the lean-to. That's where these logs came from. They had somebody come in and cut down a couple of big white pines that were right next to their buildings and stuff. And they called me up and wanted me to come down there and see, pick this stuff up if I could use it. So a lot of it, you see I got 5 feet written on there. We couldn't lift that log. We couldn't get it up on the trailer. So we had to cut it off and cut it down to 5 feet. It's actually closer to 6 feet, but you'll get probably a 5-foot good board out of it. It's kind of disappointing because it's really nice wood. That's clean wood. There's no knots or nothing in those sections. Those probably two bottom sections. The other one is the one right over here, and you can see right up there at the end of the 7 feet is a knot. So that's where the first knot started. So I had 14 feet there of good lumber, a good log that I could have got some nice lumber out of it without having knots in it, but I can't lift it. Okay, we couldn't get it on the trailer. So we had to cut them down, and that's why they're these shorter lengths. And then the guy that sawed the tree, and I don't know who that was, he was gone already. Those ones over there that were 4 foot, he cut some of one of the trees up into pieces for the guy, so the guy could do something with it, not knowing that I was coming. So those ended up at 4 feet, but those I can use for wainscoting in the building here in the barn. So that's what those will probably get saved for. I'll slice them up into 3/4 inch panels, and just like I did Barb's room there, I will do my work rooms kind of the same way. Okay, not sure if I'm going to use the pegboard, but whatever. But that's what those will get used for. The 7 to 7 footers I can do a whole wall, because these are only 7 feet walls inside here. So yeah, that's what this is going to get cut up into. More boards for finishing out my 2 rooms in there, and then finishing out the lean-to up there. I want to do board and batten on the outside walls that I'm going to cover or enclose, and then the other 2 walls are going to stay open. So yeah, I want to do board and batten on there. So that's what all of this is going to get cut up into, and then we'll end up with a whole bunch of slabs and stuff like that too on top of it. And actually all of those smaller diameter rounds, those will just get cut up into slabs for making signs or projects or whatever. So yeah, I couldn't pass it up. It's perfectly good wood, it's fresh, it's not full of bugs. So I couldn't pass it up, so now I just got to get it cut up and get it stacked and use it for something. Try and figure out what I'm going to use it for and make the boards accordingly. All right. So we're gonna get some shingles made for the lean-to finish up the roof. And I'm gonna use some of these logs I have. I got some over here that I took out of our woods here that are clean, don't have any knots in it also. And I'm gonna cut my own shakes, and that's what we're gonna put up on top there for now. In 5 years, if it's starting to leak really bad and the shakes aren't holding up, then I'll address the issue then and maybe buy shingles or whatever. But for right now, that's what we're going to do. We're going to start cutting and cut up some shakes. Welcome back, everyone. So it is time to get the shingles on. So we're doing a little experimenting here. I see a lot of guys on Facebook and stuff talking about they oil their wood before they install it, and it lasts a lot longer. So that's what I'm trying to do here. But the issue I'm having is this is a pain in the butt to oil these boards. Okay, so I'm cutting them all to size, and then down by the garage there I have a barrel filled with oil, and I'm sticking them in there and leaving them overnight, and then I'm pulling them out in the morning, and I have one of those black 27-gallon totes sitting here by my leg, and then I throw them in there so that they kind of drip dry before I put them up. But even doing that, I got oil. These gloves are just soaked with oil. My nail gun is soaked with oil. Everything's just soaked with oil, you know, so it's kind of a pain in the butt putting it up. And I put these up yesterday morning, and now over the afternoon, just one afternoon of hot sunny weather, they look like they're dry already, you know. So I don't know if that's the answer 100% to soak your stuff in oil. I really don't know. So this is just going to be like an experiment. We're going to put this roof on. So I'm going to do these first 4 rows soaked in oil, and then the rest of the roof I'm going to just put it up, and I'm going to come back with my sprayer and spray the oil on. And then I can do that on a regular basis. I can spray oil, come up here twice a year, maybe twice a summer, and spray it with oil. Once in the spring, once in the fall, maybe when it's not so hot. I don't know. But that's what I'm thinking right now. That's what I got in my head. Because this is way too much screwing around, soaking these things in oil and then trying to carry them up here and whatever. I'd be much better off having them sawed and just throw them up here, and then I could just nail them down just the way they are. Okay? So at any rate, we're going to keep going here, and I'll show you how I'm doing this. So I start out with a starter strip right here. So I have these were soaked in motor oil. I'm standing on a scaffolding that I made, and I haven't been on a scaffolding since we put the barn up 2 years ago. So I'm kind of leg shaky, if you know what I mean, walking on this plank. I'm starting out with this starter strip. It's the same thickness as the shingles, and I soaked this in motor oil. That's why it's black. And I'm just nailing them down, and then the shingles are laying over the top. So if you watched my other videos, when I'm building the barn, all the wood I'm doing inside the barn, everything is barked down. So bark down, and that's the way the board is going to curl when it dries out. These are still pretty wet. So bark down on everything, and that's how we're putting it in. So I'm putting 2 nails right in the center, and that should keep it from cracking too bad as they dry out. So one on the top, and then one right at the edge of this starter strip. Just like that. And I just keep come down the line. And any of them that look like they're cracked or don't look like a good piece of wood, I'm throwing them off to the side, and then we'll use them on the edges where we have to cut pieces or wherever. I can use them for other stuff later on. And I've also seen comments about the fraying. This fraying that you get when you're sawing your own lumber. Okay, as soon as this dries out, that stuff just kind of falls right off. So it's not a big issue. That's your blade that's a little bit dull, or it's just because the material is that type of material. It's no big deal. That almost wipes off by hand after the boards dry up a little bit. Right there, just cracked in half. Now for the second row, and the third row, and the fourth row, I made up this jig. So this butts up against the end of my shingles here, and then I just lay the next one right up against it like that, and that's giving me basically a 5-inch reveal of the shingle. So this is 5 inches sticking out. I mean, they're coming out pretty darn straight. Obviously my fascia isn't perfectly straight, so you're gonna follow your fascia. Once I get down to the other end, you're probably gonna see a wave in it to some extent, but it's good enough. Nobody can see that up here. And the same thing, we're putting one nail up at the top and one nail right here where it's where the other shingle meets it. So the last log that I cut up yesterday, I started sawing these up into 12-inch pieces, and they were all cracked. So the better the log you got to work with, the better off you are, because they were all cracking in half. There must have been a stress crack in the log from when it fell or whatever, and it didn't really show up when I was cutting them. Down there you couldn't see it, but as soon as you sawed them into these smaller pieces and threw them on the floor or whatever, you could see them. They were breaking in half. So like I always say, it is what it is. You're working with, inferior lumber. You're sawing your own stuff. It doesn't matter what tree I cut down out here, there's some kind of problem with it for some reason or another, So you can see here now, when I get to the bottom of this tote, these are still soaking wet down there because everything's draining into the bottom, but and so on and so forth. So I think it looks really nice. I really do. Whether or not it's going to hold up, I don't know. But we're just going to keep continuing. Like I say, the rest of the roof will be done with the dry pieces, no oil on them. And then I will spray it afterwards. So we will come back when I get a little farther on this. I just wanted to show you how I'm putting this down. And remember, this is just a lean-to over a sawmill. It's nothing, it's not your house, it's nothing else. I'm making it the way I'm making it. It's free. The only thing I'm paying for is nails. And these nails, I got these 20 years ago when I met my wife. I got these 20 years ago because we had talked about building up here. And I had the nail gun already, and somebody had like 4 boxes of these nails for 75 bucks. Now, 1 box of these nails is 75 bucks. So that just tells you how much it changes in 20 years. So I'm glad I bought them, and they're finally getting used, you know, for all these building projects we're doing. I used a lot of them inside the barn there for the flooring and stuff in there, and it's, yeah, it's going together good, and it's not costing me nothing except my time to do this. A couple of saw blades, we hit some nails, but that's every job you do. You're going to hit nails in a log, so. All right, I am going to get back to you when we get this a little further along. I will get back to you when I get to the end up here on the top. It's taken much longer than I thought it would. But I mean, I think it looks nice. I think it looks great. Until I get this done. Might be another day or two. All right, guys. I finished up the roof this morning in between rain showers. It started raining last night. We got about 1 inch of rain last night, and it's been raining all day off and on. Every few minutes it starts raining. So I come down and hide for a little bit, and then it stops raining. So they said it was widely scattered showers today, and it's been pretty much every 10-15 minutes, half hour, another heavy rain comes through. So I don't know how much we've gotten today yet, but you can see behind me here, it's all mud, it's all puddles. So it's been raining pretty good. And we needed it. It's been a couple weeks since we had any rain, so we needed the rain. So I'm going to take you up there and show you the finished product. I'm not 100% happy with it. It was a lot of work, all right? A lot of work. And I don't know that it's sealed. I can see right now there's some spots dripping. So I don't know that it seals the roof that well. I don't know what to say about it. But like I said before, it is just a lean-to over a sawmill. As long as I put my cover over the engine, there really isn't nothing the rain can hurt if it does drip a little bit here and there. So that's all I'm going to say about it. So I need to oil it yet, and I need to put a little 7-inch piece along the top to seal that last crack up there, and that might help with the dripping. I don't know. It's been raining pretty heavy, so this was a good test for it, I guess. Like, if you want to say that. So let's go up there. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, there's the finished product. I think it looks really nice. Whether or not it's gonna last, I don't know. So I have to oil all of this yet. I only oiled this little bit here, so I gotta oil the rest of this. Up here on the top is where I need to put the 7-inch piece yet to cover that gap right there. And then that should be it. And we'll have to let you know in the future how it's working. I still gotta fix my beam underneath there. I gotta put something underneath there to make that, you can see the dip there. I gotta fix that and make that better. And I have some ideas for that, but that'll probably be in a later video, another video sometime, some other time, you know. So for the most part, it is finished for right now. We're gonna be busy the next, I don't know how many weeks, well into September. So I just wanted to get this wrapped up before we went on vacation and did some other stuff. Yeah, and hunting season's coming up pretty soon. I'm not really prepared for that yet, so. All right, so that's gonna be it for this one. I hope you enjoy these videos, and I hope you keep watching, and we will catch you on the next one.